Hi guys, welcome. Oh, I'm sort of scared, but let's see how this goes. All right. Hi guys. So first of all, let's call me T. Okay. It's a very simple name. It has a backstory, but I'll tell you about the backstory in a bit. Okay. So, but let's get started, I guess. Okay. So first and foremost, I'll pretend that none of you know anything. I'm gonna start teaching about candlesticks. I'm going to teach about line charts. I'm going to teach how all of these two things, these two elements correspond. How they're friends, basically. And I'm going to go through the basics of SNR. I'm going to go to the basics of trend lines. If you guys know it, there's 6 types. Okay. And then we're going to go, and then once you guys have understood this, yeah, like I said, I'm here because I want to teach you. So you guys will have homework. There won't be consequences except for your own downfall. That's going to be the only consequences. Okay. And so to make sure you guys, your understanding on this topic is well solid. And then after that, we're going to go to, well, storyline. So storyline is basically the one of the most important factors, key factors of determining to focus on buy or sell. Because as you've seen last week, I missed. I had an exam last week, so I wasn't able to take this buy. But I took this one, and I took this one. And you might be wondering, how exactly did I know that I should be focusing on specifically the buy? And you see, remember, and a week, I think 2 weeks back, I was focusing on sell here. And then after this, how did I know? How did I know that I should be focusing on sells? And then over here, I started focusing on buys. How did I know I was supposed to focus on buys? And over here, you're supposed to start focusing on sell. And I'm not going to give a signal. I'm not going to give a signal. So, okay. And you see, what is the secret behind this? So, storyline. Let's get to know what the storyline is. Okay, I won't explain it yet, but I just want you to get familiar with the word storyline. And so storyline says that a story has its start and a story will have its ending. And of course, the story will have its fillers. The middle points, you know? And so the story of sell starts here. Story of sell. So it will continue to, the direction will be sell. The direction will be, well, a downtrend, bearish. And so this stuff is basically the filler. And this is the ending. And like they say, every ending is, what is it? It's a new beginning. So once the story of sell ends, what story starts?
Story of buying.
The story of buy, exactly. So this is where the buy trend starts. Start buying. And this is the filler. And now the story of buy ends. Now the story of sell starts. The market is simply a game of moving from storyline to storyline. That's it. That's the it that you need. But the thing is, the biggest question is, what the fuck is a storyline?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how do you know it has, how do you know where the end is? How do you know if it's a filler or if it's ending? How do you know if it's a filler or it's starting? You see? And so that's a storyline. So when it comes to, I don't know, I'm not going to explain storyline. Storyline is probably going to be the next class. Okay. What the fuck? Wait. Okay. And then through storyline. And then we're going to talk about, fuck, my Apple Pencil live. Okay. What else is in the group? Search for syllabus.
Very quick heads up to your iPad's at 11% battery.
No worries at all. I have a charger beside me. It's okay.
Cool.
Okay. And then, yes, open close candles. What is spank me instead, stupid guy. The syllabus as well, of course, open close candles. Open close candles is basically, I'll talk about open close candles in a bit. Point A to point B. Well, point A to point B can also be translated, well, from storyline to storyline, from the start to ending, from another start to another ending. Time frames kissing. Oh yeah, that's a fun one. Time frames kissing is basically how you make sense of the time frames. Did you know that all the time frames have their uses? Each one of them. Not one, not even, none of them are basically time frames that are trash. Each of them have uses. And then of course there's roadblocks. Roadblocks are something that I personally would not trade, because roadblocks are basically, you see, remember the part when I told you about the filler parts? And let's say you're in a buy story and there's a filler in which where price plays around, and instead of going up, it just goes down for a bit and then it goes up again because it's in a buy story. You see, that's what roadblocks are. Roadblocks are things that basically stop the story, the enemies, basically the protagonists inside the story, causing the main hero to lose track a bit. And then of course there's SNR. SNR, there's 4 types. What is SNR? SNR is support and resistance. Okay. SNR is support and resistance. There are 4 types. And then there's fresh SNR. And then there's the freshest SNR. Okay. So the freshest is your entry point. Fresh is your storyline point. I'll get to that in a bit. And so when it comes to trend lines, there's 6 types. And which one do you choose? You see, even if you know all 6 types of trend lines, you still don't know which trend line is the right trend line. And then we have, of course, reversals. Usually reversals come with a trend line. So yeah, and then logic, of course, is how do I make sense of these? How do I make sense of these? Because you see, even if you have all of these components, yeah, but if you don't have logic, you still can't be a good trader, because you don't understand how do you use these. You know, if I gave you like a very pretty sword, you know, if I give you a pretty sword, but then you don't actually know how to hold the handle well and swing well, you can't use the sword, even if it's the best sword in the world. All right. So storyline, of course, we're gonna go for SNR. For SNR, there's fresh and freshest. And then there's, of course, let me refer back to the syllabus. Trend lines, which to choose. Okay. And of course, trend line, blah, blah. Yes. Time frames. If you've seen like good traders, you see they trade by SNR, trend line, multi-time frame. I bet you've seen this quote somewhere. And basically, this is the most important part. This thing determines whether you are good or you are a bad trader. Your use of multi-time frames. Because your use of multi-time frames will decide how good your entries are. It will decide something called direction, which is, well, what story you're in. Okay, so these things, so multi-time frame is going to be something that you're going to have to take your time to totally understand how to multi-time frame. But it's going to be worth it, let me tell you. And so the journey of a trader has 4 phases. First of all, the shit phase. You know, shit, you don't know nothing at all. And what all you do is basically lose, and lose. MC, you have like 0 USD left in your account. Oh, by the way, guys, I completed my Forex funds in like 3 days. Whee!
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so first there's a shit phase. Okay, I was there before, man. I was there before. You don't worry, man. The best of us go through the shit phase. If you haven't gone through the shit phase, then you're not a real trader, man. And then there's, of course, the learning phase. The learning phase is the phase that you're going through now. I'm teaching you. You're learning with me. Okay, and then of course there's the experience phase. Your education is done. You finish learning, and now all you need is the, well, experience in the live markets. Yes, of course, I can offer you an explanation after. Well, I can basically read the market like a textbook, you know, but I can offer you explanations. But at the end of the day, how well you understand my explanations are based on your experience. How well you're able to execute in real time is based on your experience. Okay, and so this part takes very, very short. Okay, but experience, it takes at least the best trader, the best one in the best trader, well, I've heard of, took like around 3 months to get proper experience. But I think 6 months to a year is usually the sweet spot, you know. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. The slowest ones take up to 3 years. For my own, it took me about like 2 to 3 months. 2 to 3 months to properly nail it down, you know, the experience phase. Okay, because my learning phase was very long because it took me ages to find the right teachers. And my teachers are, of course, observers inside our current group. And experience, and of course, mastery. This stuff, heaven on earth, bro. You literally poop money at this point, you know. whatever you press in the market turns into money, man. Whatever, it just basically turns into your instinct, you know. You just know when the market has ended. You just know when the market has ended. I'm sorry. You just know when the sell flow has ended, when the buy flow has ended, based on what you're seeing. And you see, there's this very important phrase: react, don't predict. Okay, react, don't predict. Some people focus on something called mapping. I respect them truly, but I'm not a fan of mapping. I'm not a fan of mapping. I don't do the stuff that goes like, okay, it's gonna come here, and then when it comes here, it's gonna go up from there. I don't do that. Why?
It's different than that, T. Usually they have a line that's showing it going back up, or it's going to break out and go down, or it's going to go down and fake out.
Yeah.
Up again. So
I get you. You know, there's this. You know,
yeah.
if it breaks this, it's gonna go here, and then it's gonna go here. You know?
Yeah.
And then if it does break this, they're gonna say something called like, they're gonna go do this. No, I'm sorry. Wait. I need to become a scammer. Wait a sec. This one. And then they're gonna go do this. And then they're gonna go tight. Low risk. Sorry. No, that's not the way. High risk, medium risk, low risk.
Yeah.
And they're gonna say strong support.
You know what? Then there's idiots like me who see this and say, "Wow, he knows the market's gonna move up or down. The market's gonna move up or down. Let me buy his course."
This stuff is the easiest stuff to do. Like
Yeah.
if you really want to scam people that much, just do this, and people are gonna think you're legit. You see, because this makes sense. Because, well, you see, this one is the lowest support, and of course people are going to think it's low risk, but at the end of the day, if you know storyline, and if you understand logic is something that I will teach. No worries. Logic comes from the lower time frames. And it's nothing like you would expect. Nothing. I promise you've never heard of it before. Logic comes from the lower time frames. And so I know for a fact that if the storyline of Cell hasn't ended, it's just going to break this until it reaches the storyline of the end of the Cell storyline, And, well, you see, when someone does this stuff, you can already guess his level of skill, because he's basically gambling. He's just finding random supports, not waiting for the reaction, and simply, well, yeah, So I'm just gonna say that for this low, medium, and high, there's only one. There will only be one support that will be taken. Only one. Fucking hell, it's so fast. Okay. So there's no such thing as this one. Yeah. You get me? All right.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Okay. And so what I do is react. I never predict. Or the only predictions that I make are whether what kind of flow are we in? What kind of flow are we in? That's the only predictions that I make. I don't make the predictions of which SNR is going to reverse. No, I just want to know which flow are we in. And then I just want to know which SNR I should react to. Yeah, it's a long story, but let's get started anyways. Okay, wait, let me get my charger. Yeah, give me a minute. Hello. Oh, 1 minute, yeah, boys. It's all right. We have all the time in the world. Even if you guys want to learn the whole syllabus today, I'd be more than happy to show you.
Cool.
Makes my job easier, but no. It's not about making the job easy. It's to make you understand. All right, boys and girls, let's do it. Okay, all right. So, well, let's start with candlesticks, yeah? And guys, really, I want to focus on your understanding. So if you guys have questions, even dumb ones, ask me. But don't ask whether I'm single or not, because I won't answer that question, okay? Candlesticks.
You're a uni student, man. If you weren't single, I'd be telling you off.
Dude, you're supposed to have at least 4 girlfriends in uni, man. Like different women, you know, like not at the same time though. Well, women after women, you know, it's normal. It's normal.
Dude, you're up north. That's quite possible that it's gonna happen.
Right. So what color do you want to be? That's like the bull and the bear, of course. What color do you want the bull to be, and what color do you want the bear to be? You want it the typical green red, or do you want the blue red? Because I use blue and red, you know.
Blue and red's fine. Yeah.
Okay. And then so, well, of course, the very simple definitions of bull and bear. Bull and bear. Right. So of course we know bull means up, bear means down. That's very simple. Okay. So, wow, it's purple. Why is it purple? It's supposed to be blue. Yeah, it's supposed to be blue. Is it purple? Never mind. Purple is nice. I love purple. All right. And so bull candles, right? So you see this guy. Let me draw a rectangle for you. Fucking hell, why you diagonally shape, man? Okay. All right. So of course this is a candlestick. And you guys don't mind if it's gonna take if it's gonna take a while, right? Our class.
No worries at all. No worries at all.
Lovely, lovely.
The only thing I would say, you're probably restricted on the file size for the recording. So as long as it's not over 4 hours, we're good.
It won't be over 4 hours. I think it's like 1.5 max, you know? All right.
No worries. Cool.
And so there's something called OHLC. Okay. OHLC. What the hell is OHLC? Open. High. Low. Close. Okay. And then you see, if you look at the candlesticks, right? This is where it opens. This is the high. This is the low, and this is the close. So in raw price movement, it looks like this. This is where it opens, and this is where it closes. This is the highest point it went. Let's say you're dealing with a H1 candlestick. Let's say you're dealing with a H4 candlestick, right? You're dealing with a H4 candlestick. This is the price movement in the 4 hours this candlestick has been made. So in the H4 candlestick, right? Let's say you're looking at the H4. My favorite time frame is H4, by the way. H4 and weekly and daily. You see this? You're looking at this candlestick. This is a pink candlestick. Okay, so it goes down. And so this is where it opens. This is its high. This is its low, and this is its close. And so the movement practically looks like this. This is the highest point it went during the 4 hours. This is the lowest point it went during the 4 hours. And let's say this one started at 3 p.m. And now at 7 p.m., it ended here. You get me?
Yeah, makes sense.
Makes sense. All right. So, Vic told me about his learning stuff. And Vic, do you understand?
Yes, that's all good. Yep. Thanks.
Lovely, lovely. All right. Okay, and so that's bull and bear. So open, it opens high, and it closes low because it's a bear candle. And so low, and this is high. Okay. So open, high, low, close. Open, high, low, close. Right? And so of course the movement of the candlestick will go like this. Boop, boop, boop. Yep, like that. Okay. And so now let's look at the line chart. Okay. Here's a life hack. Here's a life hack. You see how my line chart and my candlestick chart is like basically grouped into one chart? And well,
Yes.
it's because I do this. The indicator. Okay, if I deleted the indicator, it would what? Main window. Oh wow, it does not delete. Okay. Okay. What are you supposed to get is basically yeah, there we go. Delete it. This is the raw chart. Okay. The clean chart without my line chart. That's been like inside the candlestick chart as well. And so how you do this is basically, most people during like sometimes like what you have to do is do this, press the line chart, and this is very tedious. You don't want to do this to yourself. You just want to see everything at the same point because the line charts will correspond with the candlestick chart. So what you have to do is basically open this, first the indicator, add indicator, moving average, period 1, shift 0, method, anyone is okay, exponential, you want smooth or linear weighted, all of them are the same because it's 1, period is 1, and then apply to close. Close, okay, remember, apply to close. Boop. And you're going to have a line chart inside a candlestick chart. Okay. And so what's the line chart? What is a line chart? What's the line chart? So the line chart is tracking the close of each candlestick. Now, what the hell does this mean? This is what it means. Okay, let me show you. Oh my, fuck. Right. So this is the close, 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 right? So basically, there's this. Bam, 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 bam. The close, the close, the close, the close, the close, right? Bam, 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 bam. It tracks the close of each candlestick. Okay, that's the function of a line chart, and the line chart is extremely important because using your line chart, yes, now we go for support and resistance. I gotta use some colors. Support and resistance. And of course, the name is SNR. All right, SNR. And so what the fuck are these things? Okay. First of all, we have the classic variation. Oh, why is my blue purple, man? Come on. Okay. Classic variation, which is A and V. All right. What is an A and V? Okay. So basically, support looks like this. Like that. And you take here. Okay, this is what you call as a support. Price goes up. Boom, 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 boom. This is very important, by the way. What is this? This is the logic. But I'll talk about that later. Okay, it's hard to. That one is a bit complex. Okay, so we're gonna start with the basics and slowly move until you guys get it. Okay, and then okay, and then of course you have resistance. So this is the A, this is A, and resistance looks like a V. I'm sorry, this is the V. I'm sorry. This is the V, and of course resistance looks like an A. Boop. Okay, and what you have to do is basically draw this up there. Boom. Okay, and so this is an A. This is an A, right? And then you have breakouts. Breakout. So what's a breakout? So did you know that when a resistance is broken, see this resistance is broken, price can return to this point and take it as a support. Boom. This is what we call as a breakout zone. Okay, there's so many names to this. Some people call it support. Some people call it RBS, sorry. RBS, which is resistance becomes support. And some people call it, well, swap zones, I guess. Because they say, oh, this is where to sell and there's at least swaps to buy over here. Whatever, so many names. It's called breakouts. Okay, there's a breakout there. And of course, we have the sell variation where a support is broken by price. Okay, and then price over here. Boom. All right. So you see, you can see that this was a resistance, this was a support, but now it has turned into a resistance. Let's call it a breakout. Okay, a breakout zone. This is a breakout. A breakout zone is this. You get me?
Yeah, simple. Yeah.
Lovely. All right. And so, of course, next you have the HNS. 3 HNS, which also stands for head and shoulders. Let's go. All right. And so, of course, you have the sell you have the buy variation, which is okay. So what's special about this HNS is that it has to break this. It has to break two spots, this spot and this spot. This is what you call a proper HNS. Some people call it a Quasimodo. Some people just call it a HNS. Just make sure you use only these kind of HNSs. Okay. And so it has to break out those two lines, and then it returns to this line. Okay. And then it flies. Whee! Simple. All right. And this is for the buy variation. And now we have the sell variation, which goes like this. It has to break this out, has to break this out, and it has to return here. It has to return there. It has to return here. Price comes, and then it goes down. Okay. And last but not least, my most favorite thing in the whole world, because it's so common. It's so common. To me, and the strongest SNR is hidden base. Okay, it's gaps, you know, because it's almost all the time, those things are what moves the market, you know. You're gonna find Sorry. Gaps. Sorry. Okay, gaps. What are gaps? Gaps are basically for the buy variation. Price moves here. Price moves here. Boom. Okay. And for the sell variation, and remember the rule of breakout. Let's say, no, never mind. Let's take it one by one. This one. This one. Of course, you have this. Boom. All right. And so what? And so remember our rule about breakouts. If this breaks out, boom, this automatically turns into a resistance, a sell point. If this breaks out, this automatically turns into a buy point. As simple as that. And so you're going to realize something. Okay. This is what moves the market. This is what moves the market. I won't teach you how to entry first. Just follow me. Okay. The way I mark is basically by using a line. I just use a line. But while you're still learning, use a box, but use a very, very thin box, simulating a line as thin as possible. And if you, I use a, well, translucent box, but you can use a black box to make it clear to you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so you see what happened here. Price broke out this resistance, came back to this support, came back to the resistance that has been broken, turned into support, and then it flew. What about here? How the hell did I buy here? Don't you see? There's no resistance. There's nothing here. Like no A's and V's. Came from here, man. Came from this guy right here. Okay, that guy. Okay. And well, if you wanted to sell, if you didn't get the sell point, this is the reversal point. I'm generally not a fan of reversals. I'm a fan of like taking the fillers. And so you see this one this guy has been broken.
T, sorry to interrupt just for a moment. Where you've
Yeah,
drawn
yeah.
that last black line at the bottom, where there was nothing to the left, but you took an entry.
Yeah.
Did you look at just the H4, or did you do some lower time frame analysis to see some
Yes.
breakout?
That comes in the entry part of our course. Okay. And right now I'm just explaining the general concept of SNR.
Okay.
But then if you want to see the real way I did it, was basically what I did was I saw price was here. Okay, let me show you how. Let me just give you an overview of how I trade. I saw that time I was playing in this candle, right? I was playing in this candle. And so what I saw was the nearest one is here. The nearest SNR is here. And so what I did was basically I had to open H1 because this is fresh. At the time, that was fresh. What is fresh? It means that this SNR has not been touched by anything. Oh yeah. I'll be using this term a lot. These things up there, these guys, these are called shadows. Okay. Shadow. Okay. These guys are called shadows. And so you see, This has not been touched by any shadow, by price, basically. No price has touched it. Am I correct? In this candle. No price has touched it.
Yeah.
Therefore, then it's fresh. So I tried to find the freshest. The freshest is this guy. This guy down here. Okay. Your marking must be very precise. All right, lovely. And so price came, and then I had to open the M5. Remember when I told you about logic and how price came? This was basically price speaking to me. I'm gonna go up. This is the language of price. The language of price is sideways. The language of price is how it approaches the zone. That is the language of price. There is a way to determine whether this zone will break or not. There is a way to determine that for sure, 100%.
100%.
100%. There is a way to determine whether it will break or not.
Jeez, wow.
Okay. Because if it did not do this, I won't buy there. I won't buy there. I'm going to wait for somewhere lower. I'm going to show you something. See this? You see this bad boy here?
Oh yeah, that tiny one. Yeah.
So you take the freshest. Now open the M5. How did it approach it? Did it
Yeah.
approach it like this? No, right?
No, momentum.
100%. It will break. It will break. It has to approach it in a very, very slow manner. Not a very slow manner, basically in a way where it goes sideways. You see, that's why I don't talk about the entries yet. It's going to confuse you. Okay?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. And so you can see that. Why did price go up? Price went up because of this guy. And of course, there's freshers and stuff, but then let's not talk about freshers yet. Okay. And then there's this guy here that pushed it up. You know, this is the boring part of the market. The boring part of the market is learning, you know. And well, but I don't find it boring though, because like this knowledge is extremely valuable. And this one is another one. And then you can see that this one is another one. Shadow came, touched, flew again. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we have our trusty trend line. Why was it this trend line? Why wasn't it this one? Why wasn't it? Why is it this one? Why wasn't it this one? Why wasn't it this one? There's so many trend lines, but which one do you pick? We'll get to that in a second. No, maybe not in this session. Maybe in the next session where I talk about entries, because trend lines are a bit complex to use. All right. And so let's go for a storyline. Now that you've understood what support and resistances are, you have to understand that storyline means that price will always move from from support to resistance, and vice versa, from resistance to support. Okay, and so you have the time frames. What are the time frames? The time frames are pink, monthly, weekly. Oops, W1. Sorry, support. Weekly, daily. Well, 4-hour. Favorite. My favorite time frame. That's each one. And then we skip all the way to M5 and M15. This one is used for logic. You have to understand one thing. It's that sometimes you're going to understand about whether what kind of storyline you're in. And so from a monthly resistance, it will move from a monthly resistance to a monthly support. Weekly, it will move from a weekly resistance to a weekly support to a weekly resistance. Now, these bad boys here are used to follow the big boys. These are the big boys. This is for logic. And so what the hell do I actually mean? So this is what I mean. I'll show you. Wait, is that? Oh, okay. Weekly. Support. So now that it went to the weekly support, it must go to a weekly resistance. Which weekly resistance did it take? It took this one. And so you can see that, and why, how did I know that this is a weekly storyline? It's because, first of all, imagine, so one thing that stays true in storyline is it goes from fresh to fresh. It goes from a fresh support to a fresh resistance, then another fresh resistance to another fresh support. And then it goes again and again and again. Okay. And so, and then one thing that's very important is closing price. It's closing price. You can see that this candle, this pink candle here, it went down, but then it closed above this support. You see the closing price? It closed above the support, meaning that it already has a solid chance to start a buy story. Okay. And so you're going to find what? You're going to find that it went here, whoop, and what did price do? Well, this is also a resistance. This is also a resistance. Yeah, whatever, it's candles that are very, very shitty. And so you see what? Price comes there, and then price closes like this, meaning that there is a fair chance that it will start a sell story. And you see, I was looking at, oh my, what's it look like that? Yeah, never mind. And then now look at monthly. Why aren't my candles appearing? Why am what are my candles look like this? I don't know. Yeah. And so then it broke out. Broke this out. Took this guy here. Broke out. Took it here. And now we're in a buy storyline. Last 2 weeks, sorry, we were in a sell storyline. Why? Because look here, look very closely. You see this guy? This guy is a weekly resistance because it's a support that has been broken up. And then over here, you have a weekly support. Weekly support. Okay. And then at the weekly support, a reversal trend line appeared. This guy appeared. Ta-da! Meaning what? Meaning that a reversal has started because of this trend line. This one is a reversal trend line. And you're going to see something that happens in every time frame is that storyline happens in every time frame. It goes from H4 to H4, weekly to weekly, daily to daily. Price comes, reacts at this, starts a mini sell story, goes down, starts a mini buy story, boom, boom, goes back here, comes back there, goes back here, comes back here. You see, it just goes, it moves from support to resistance, support to resistance, support to resistance. And that
So with
happens.
storyline, it's super important to never ignore even the smallest support or resistance because it can
Even the
it can
smallest
react to
support
any
and
of them.
resistance. Precisely, definitely. Okay, because even if it's small, it's still a support. Even if it's small, it's still a resistance. And if it wasn't valid, it wouldn't cause this massive, well, bullish movement. And you see, well, I haven't talked about trend lines yet. And you see, you might be feeling something. One thing that you might be feeling is basically, holy shit, this is complex. Well, it's because you just started learning, and well, how do I say it? And well, you've only learned around 40% of the knowledge I'm trying to give you, what I'm trying to tell you. And so it's normal for you to think that this stuff is complex. Okay? And so it's normal. So chill out. It's okay. The complexity, the fog in your brain right now will slowly go away. I'll help with that. So what are the key takeaway points from today? What are the key takeaway points? Number one, types of SNR. Okay. And of course, candlesticks. And number three, storyline. We call it point A to point B. From support to resistance, from story to story, story to story. And so, comes from here. Oh no. Let me find a legit one. It's from here, finishes here. No, it finishes here. And there are reasons. There are reasons why, you see, this guy broke. There are reasons to that. There's always a reason to that. I'm going to talk about that in the next class, okay? Because I want you to get familiar. I want you to get familiar with what a support is, what a resistance is. And then we'll go to the next class. And so your first homework is, I don't want you to care about entries, and I don't want you to care about sharp entries yet, okay? Because we're in a course, and well, there's in every course there's a process, okay? So this first class is your intro. Next class, I'm planning to go for direction. Third class, we're gonna go for entries. And for the fourth class, combination. Okay.
By the way, T, are direction and storyline used interchangeably? Because obviously storyline
Yes.
and direction should be the same in the same way, right?
They're basically the same thing.
Okay.
A storyline decides direction. Storyline is what decides direction. Whether, well, the direction is a sell, whether direction is a sell or a buy, it's based on what kind of storyline you're in. And so let me show you something. You see, for example, this guy right here, okay? This guy over here, it started a weekly sell. So when it starts a weekly sell, it has to finish at a, where does it have to finish?
Weekly support.
At a weekly
Fresh.
support, at a weekly buy, at a weekly buy story. So a weekly buy story can start where? It can only start here, or here, or here, or wherever. But then there is a reason why. And don't worry about the reasons why yet. Okay, I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna get there. But trust me, okay? There is a reason why it took this and not this. There's a reason. Okay, so don't work yourselves out about that. Okay, and so the weekly sell started here, the weekly buy started there. Okay.
Makes sense. I was just going to ask about that. So you can look and see where a storyline started, but you don't necessarily know where the point B is going to be, other than it's going to be a fresh. If it's coming from resistance, it's going to go to a fresh support. You just don't know precisely which one.
Exactly. But you know how, if price approaches it in a certain way, if price reacts to it in a certain way, it means that the buy has started. Got me?
Right.
Okay. So you don't know where it will end, but when it ends, you'll know. You get me?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Very nice. Okay. And so over here, I did not know if it will end here or here. But when price did this, I already know that it will start a buy storyline. for the weekly. And right now, a sell storyline is about to start. I'm going to give signals. You know what? Fuck it. Signals. This guy. Is it this one? Yeah. No. Wait. Why am I on weekly? Oh my God. No. Okay. Over here. Page 4. This is the hint. This one. No. This one. Why is my iPad moving? iPad, why aren't you moving? Okay. This one. This one. This one. Yeah. Why was it this trend line? Okay, you might be seeing me confused just now. I wasn't confused. I was just trying to pick which point because I don't remember all of them. Okay. And so there's a reason why this was the trend line that was taken. One of the hints that I'll give you is basically distance. Number 1, distance. Number 2, time frame. Number 3, lines. Let me show you something. You see how this is a weekly resistance, right? You see that this is a weekly resistance. And so now you open H4. You want to know what the hint is? Every SNR that appears above the line is a valid second point. Is a valid second point. What's a second point? A trend line looks like this. I won't talk much about trend lines because trend lines are very complicated. This one, this is the first point, this is the second point, and this is the third point. Okay. And so whatever appears above the line, the horizontal line, is the second point. That is the hint that the market gives. And so there are many second points that you can take. This guy. And so apparently it chose this. And so once it's done that, it means that a weekly sell storyline may have started. And so you could have sold here. This support has been broken out. And then it retested, and then it went down. That was why it went down last Friday. Okay, and remember the rule of the second point. I'm gonna go in depth when it comes to the trend lines, but then it's okay. Chill out. And you see this? This guy right here. Open H4. The hint is this guy or this guy can be used as a second point. Am I correct?
Yeah, both below the level.
Ta-da!
Oh, damn. God, this is like, I've attended so many webinars and no one talks about this shit. It's great.
Because it's kept secret.
Yeah.
A small amount of people only know this. You know? You see, that is the hints. You see, the market, and well, not the market, gold especially. Okay, you might be wondering, why does everyone trade gold? The crazy, super awesome traders, they only trade, most of them, their like main character is basically gold when it comes to the game of trading. Why? Because gold is very kind. It tells you specifically what it wants to do. It tells you which trend line that it's about to take. It gives you a very easy way to interpret this logic. It's very easy for you to trade gold. So some people might think gold is a very risky asset, but to me, gold is the most kindest thing in the whole planet, you know?
You're the first person to say that as well. Typically, we hear that gold is very fast moving, hence why it can be troublesome. But if you know how to trade it, you'll get profits quicker.
Exactly.
That's a different spin
Gold,
you put on there.
gold is, people call gold the dragon, because basically a dragon is wise, and the dragon protects who is worthy of protection. And the dragon lets people who are worthy of riding it ride it. And so gold, you're looking at something that is so easy to trade, but requires the right knowledge. Basically, you gotta be a master at it first. Okay, so take your time. It's okay. It really is okay. And so this is what they call as the hints. Storyline, and you see that the weekly storyline for buy has started there. The weekly storyline for sell has ended there. And it just goes again and again and again, man. Come on. Okay.
T, is gold the only asset you trade? I know you said you love gold at the start, but is this
I trade GJ every once in a while, GBP JPY, you know. But then I've just fallen in love with gold, to be honest, because it's made me I wouldn't say it's made me a wealthy man, but it's made me some money, you know. And so one thing is that, and then so like most of my teachers, you see, most of them trade gold. You know, gold is basically their wife now, you know, their second wife, if anyone has a wife here, you know. So yeah, so trade gold, man. Continue to backtest gold, because one thing, let me tell you one thing. This is just a word of advice. If you train to use one weapon, just one, may it be a sword or a hammer or an axe, you're going to be very powerful at it. And they say a master of one is always better than a jack of all trades. Because you see, if you want to be a jack of all trades, you know, I wouldn't say it's impossible, but I'd say that it's unnecessary. Because if you can trade gold, very profitable, and you're very profitable at trading gold, if you're very precise at trading gold, and you earn a lot of money from trading gold, other pairs will just be, well, it won't be as nice. Okay, so trade gold, just trade gold. All right, gold is the best thing in the world. Vic, I think you have a question.
No. I'm good. That was the only question I had. The reason I asked that question as well was simply because from this side of the fence, it seems like, you know, when you've mastered something, then why not use it in every opportunity? Hence why I think we naturally think of using it on more pairs, be it GJ, gold, etc. But
Thing,
so you're on the other side of the fence, so you're thinking of it in a totally different way from what I am.
Oh, all right. You see, it's quality over quantity. Because quality is what brings the quantity. My trades are, let me just tell you, they're just beautiful. I love my trades. I love them so much because, well, you see, I'd say that each pair has its own, well, attitude. Gold has its own attitude. GJ has its own attitude. If you guys are fans of Euro JPY, has its own attitude. Okay. And so sometimes gold is a type of pair where there is, the start is clear, a bit of fillers, and then the end is clear. GJ, you see, one thing about GJ is that it has a history of, the start is very, very clear. The middle is very unclear, but the end is also very clear. Like I said, gold is the kindest thing ever. Everything that happens in gold is very, very, well, if you know the reasons, it's very explainable. In GJ, sometimes, the start, not sometimes, all the time, the start is very clear, the mid is very unclear, the end is very clear. And so in order to master the mid, it takes time. So why don't you just master one thing, get rich from one thing, and then repeat that thing again and again and again? Because with gold, I flipped, well, some accounts. And so yeah, just trade gold, man. It's really fun.
Makes sense to me.
You get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one more question as well. Talking of
Sure,
trend,
sure.
actually.
Yeah.
If you scroll slightly to the left, just very slightly to the left, a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. So you see that in. Sorry, I can't draw on screen.
Okay.
But where the red line is, that's it. Yeah, up a little bit. From that point there, if you drew a trend line, diagonal trend line, then that also touches on that third point. Does that? I messed up. It almost touched anyway. I thought, was that another? I was just going to ask, was that another type of trend line that you would probably be looking at some point?
That is a type of trend line, but to me, that isn't a reversal trend line.
Okay.
A reversal trend line has its specific characteristics where the second point appears below the higher time frame SNR. You see, everyone's been using trend lines wrong. Why are they using trend lines wrong? Because I see in like Instagram ads and shit, you know how they use trend lines? You know how they use trend lines? They use it like this. Let's have a little fun, yeah? Oh, it has retested the trend line. It has tested the trend line many times, hence making it very weak now. If it goes this, if it breaks out, it will return to the trend line and do this. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, and then they use this as a trend line. Oh, like let's say this one. Oh fuck, where is it? They take this. Oh, it has broken out the trend line. If it returns the trend line, it must go up. And then it proceeds to go down. And it goes here. No, man, that's not how you use trend lines. This is how we use a trend line. As you can see, I'm gonna pretend to be a scammer now. As you can see, the trend line has been retested and it has gone down, meaning that it will go down further. But if it does break, it will return to the trend line and then go up. That's typical scammer trader shit. The real way to use trend lines is like this. Let me show you, but we won't go in depth into it yet. Higher time frame point. This one is Brian's knowledge, by the way. Brian is amazing at trend lines. Higher time frame point.
Is that Saint Brian, by the way?
Saint Brian, yeah.
Okay.
This guy over here. This is the LTF trend line. That's how you use trend lines. That's how you use trend lines. As it approaches, it's supposed to do this. This is your sign for a reversal. It takes here at the third point and then goes down. That is the reversal trend line. And so people have been using trend lines wrong all their lives. But I don't mind because they aren't my students, fuck them.
Quick question, T, on marking storyline points. You're only interested in SNR for storyline points. You don't use a trend line for a storyline point A or B.
Well, actually, trend lines can be used as the end of storyline points.
Just rare.
But I'd never recommend it, to be honest, because those things don't happen all the time, Yeah. And remember, I think the next class maybe we'll just focus on trend lines, I guess. You see,
and storyline. I think we need more on. I want more on storyline.
Yeah, no worries.
I was going to say the same thing.
Trend lines are the priority. Because if you see an SNR here, and sometimes you're going to see a huge fucking wick, and then it goes up.
Mm, yeah.
The wick is usually because there's a trend line down there. Let me show you an example of that. You see this bad boy here?
Yeah.
And this guy is an SNR. And then the freshest, of course, that's the freshest because the next point is extremely far away. So this is the freshest, okay? And so you look at the M5. Where is it? This one. No, it's not the one. Where is it? You see that it's beautiful, right? Right,
Yeah,
it's beautiful, right?
sideways. Yeah.
That's beautiful. But why? Sorry, wrong level. You see, it's beautiful, right? Extremely beautiful, to be honest. But why? Why did it go so far? Why did it go 50 pips down and then it went up? Ladies and gentlemen. Fucking hell. I'm about to show some magic here. Ta-da! That's the reason. Because trend lines are the priority. If you spot a trend line, and this is not a reversal trend line, this is what you call a continuation trend line, where each trend line has its engulfing points. Each trend line has engulfing. What is an engulfing? We'll go through that in our next class.
Cool. And you want a trend line to support almost every trade you take?
No.
Oh,
Nah.
okay.
Sometimes there are trend lines, sometimes they're not. Some people, they like to force trend lines. Don't force your trend lines. It's gonna pull you into like a void of confusion. You don't want a void of confusion, do you? So if it doesn't have a trend line, don't force it. If it doesn't have an SNR, don't take the trade. Sometimes SNR, yeah, this is my quote. Sometimes SNR. Sometimes TL. Sometimes both. All the time, multi-time frame. All the damn time. There's always a reason in the multi-time frame. If you go multi-time frame, you'll continue to understand that as you learn about storyline. So take it easy, okay? All right. So I'll be giving homework in the group later. And I hope you guys had a good intro class today.
It was fantastic, man, and entertaining. I loved it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Some webinars have been boring as hell, but no, this one was great. Thank you.
It's because I put my heart into teaching.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not here to take all your money and shit, man.
No.
All right. That was
Sounds
from, that
Thanks
was from
very much.
Daniel. No worries. How about you, Vic? You okay?
I'm really good. Thank you so much.
Lovely.
See, yeah, I feel very privileged to be here. So yeah, thank you so much.
Daddy, you all right?
I'm cool.
Lovely.
Perfect.
My guy, David, okay? All right.
Yeah, good. All good, man.
All right. Lovely. All right, boys, I'll see you in our next session. As usual, I'm going to tell you, and we're going to discuss on when exactly the next session will be held. Okay?
Oh, will you release the homework in the
group? Yep, in the
okay.
group. Yeah, I'll think about what kind of homework I want to give. Okay, because I don't have it. I can't think of any homework yet. You know, I'll think about it later. All right.
No worries at all. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Have a good night.
All right. You too,
Okay.
boys. Okay.
Thanks,
Good night.
everyone.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.